How often do you need to watch a movie to justify owning it? Something that's been on my mind, so let's talk about it.
Welcome back, sir. All systems for gaming will be prepared in a few minutes. For now, feel free to grab a cup of coffee and have a good day.
Hey everyone, Mike here. Welcome back to the Marvel Man Cave. And today's video is inspired by another YouTuber over at AJ's Movie Place. I will link to the video that inspired this one below, and please give his channel a watch and a thumbs up and a subscribe and all the things over there. I think he's great. But he was going through some of his movies and talking about whether or not he wanted to upgrade them to 4K. And one of the movies, and I believe it was Shakespeare in Love, he mentioned that he had the Blu-ray, but he hadn't watched it in about 10 years. And my first thought wasn't, why would you even bother owning it if you haven't watched it in 10 years? Instead, my first thought was, you know what? And you're going to be able to watch that movie no matter when you want to watch it. And that little part of that video got me thinking, you know what? How often do I need to watch a movie to really justify going out and spending money on it? And it's something I want to talk with you guys about today. And definitely leave your thoughts in the comments below because I'm kind of curious what everybody thinks. I'm sure everybody's going to have different opinions and different thresholds, but I want to talk about mine and kind of get the conversation started. So I'm using this movie as an example because this is a movie, Confidence. I really like this movie. I tend to like a lot of Ed Burns movies, and a lot of his movies aren't really available easily on streaming. And this one isn't. And this one, I own the DVD because it's not even on Blu-ray. So I was able to find this at a thrift store for $1. So my investment cost is well, $1. I did own this back in the day and sold it. So this is the second time I purchased it. But I watched this movie when I got it back in the day, and I've probably maybe watched it 5 to 10 times over the course of its life. And for me, that's more than enough. Even obviously, this is only $1. I watched it when I got it in. But if I don't watch this movie for like another 5 years, to me that's fine. I don't need to watch this every year, every 6 months, or some arbitrary amount of time to be like, oh, I need to watch this or it's not worth having. Because in my mind, I know, all right, I want to watch this movie. I have it in my collection. And I'm going to use another example. Probably my favorite movie of all time is the movie Swingers. I literally broke the VHS of this when I owned it back in the day. I remember renting it. I remember the night I watched it. A buddy and I, probably when we were like 21, rented this and the movie Clerks at the same time. We watched them both, and we ended up spending the rest of the night basically transferring. We'd finish one, and we put the other one in, and repeated that for the entire night until probably like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning because you could sleep for 2 hours when you're 21, and there was no repercussions. Wish I could do that now, but that's another video. But this is probably my favorite movie of all time. I have no idea how often I've watched this, but I'm gonna guess it's well over 50 over the course of its life. I own this Steelbook Blu-ray. I own two versions of the actual Blu-ray because I wanted one on this cover and I have kind of the newer cover. I went out and bought another copy of the VHS. This is a sealed version, literally just to have a basic collector's edition of Swingers. Like I said, this is my favorite movie of all time. I don't do this with all movies, but I own multiple copies of this. I'm never going to watch the VHS. I don't have a VCR. But for the Blu-ray, how often do I need to watch it? And I probably have not watched Swingers probably for at least 5 years. But I checked, and the only way to watch this is if you have a Canopy or Hoopla subscription, which I do because I have a library card and you get it through my local library, but not everybody's going to have that. And that's also not guaranteed. And until I looked it up, I had no idea because I would have just tried to stream it on, I would have looked for Netflix, all the usual suspects, and it wouldn't have been available, and I would have just given up. I don't really think of Canopy or Hoopla, even though this probably is a good time to mention. It's worth checking them out. They're not the best services in case of Discovery, but they do have stuff here, and obviously they have a movie like Swingers, which highly recommend. If you haven't seen this movie, for me, it's a must-watch. I absolutely love it. Got me through my 20s. But it's movies like this, and even the movie Condor Man. It's a Disney movie. It's not on Disney Plus. The only way to get this is if you rent or buy it on a digital storefront. Now, I know this isn't probably the greatest movie in the world, but I watched this movie when I was a kid, and I loved it. I loved it then. As soon as it came on to be able to buy on digital on iTunes, I snapped it up. I got it because it was something I knew I wanted to watch. I watched it, and then I wanted to own the physical copy because at any time, basically, you're buying the license for the movie on one of those streaming services. And if for whatever reason Disney decides I'm not going to play well with iTunes anymore and they decide to take it down, I no longer have that movie, but at least I have this copy. It's also an advertisement. Please put this on at least Blu-ray. I would love to own this in the same quality I watched it online. I know it's not the greatest movie in history, but I really enjoy it. Put it on Blu-ray. But there's tons of movies like that. Like I have the movie Brown Sugar, Can't Buy Me Love. These movies aren't even on Blu-ray. You can't stream them. There's no available on streaming. So the only way to do it is to buy them. So for me, it's not really so much about the frequency of how often I watch any of these movies because I haven't seen the movie Brown Sugar probably for maybe 10 years. I bought this, I found again at the Salvation Army for $1. And when I was looking for movies I didn't own, this was on my list of stuff that I'm like, I want to make sure I own this because when I want to watch it, I don't want to have to worry about if it's streaming somewhere, which this isn't. And if I'm gonna rent it for $3.99, I bought it for $1. Granted, if I stream it online through a digital storefront, I'm probably getting, I would imagine, at least a 1080p copy of it. But at least this way, I know I have a copy of this movie to watch at any point in time, and it's not going to bother me that it's on DVD. So I'd say for me, it's not so much about the frequency of how often I would watch a movie to justify owning it, but the ability to watch what I want to watch when I want to watch it overrides almost anything. And I'm just going to throw out a few more examples. The movie Moneyball, I watch this every year. It's one of the movies that before baseball season starts, I watch this every year. I have the movie Draft Day, that literally the same thing. Before the NFL draft every year, I put that movie on. If nothing else, it's on in the background when I'm doing other things because they're just kind of those warm hugs that I feel like during the season. I'm like, these are things that I want to watch. Not available to stream, only buy or rent. The movie Doubt. I mean, this has what at least two Oscar winners in Philip Seymour Hoffman and Meryl Streep. I can't remember if Amy Adams has won an Oscar. She might have, so I maybe three Oscar winners in this. Hoopla or Canopy. It's the only place to get this movie. How is this movie not readily available? These are movies I have in my collection that it's going to be very hard for me to find on a streaming service, but I can pull them out. And granted, I don't. This I watch every year. Doubt is not a movie that I'm going to watch that frequently. I'm going to watch it maybe once. We'll say once a decade. I've watched it once when it came out. I've watched it another time since then. I didn't even own it, and then my wife found it at the Goodwill when she was on vacation. She found it for $1. I'm like, this is a movie. When I get the urge, it's kind of like the movie Capote with Philip Seymour Hoffman. It's not a movie that I'm going to watch frequently, but when I'm in the mood to watch that movie, I want to watch that movie. And Capote, I don't know if it's on streaming. I would obviously have to check. Same thing with the movie Moon. This isn't available on streaming. I've watched this movie twice in the life that it's been out, but when I want to watch this movie, I want to watch this movie, and I've been wanting to watch this movie, and I'm going to watch it in the next couple of weeks because it's been one of those, for whatever reason, movies get stuck in my head, and I'm like, I want to watch it. So again, I'm not going to watch anything other than Moneyball very frequently, but every now and then I get in the mood to watch them. And yeah, they take up space and things like that, but for me, that overriding ability to be like, you know what, I'm in the mood to watch something. I just want to be able to walk over to my shelf and take it off and watch it. And it got me thinking, the movie, like I have this John Wick chapter 4. I have all four John Wicks. Just out of curiosity, I'm like, these are movies that should be easily available. I mean, you can barely, it seems like every time I travel and turn on the TV in the hotel room, one of the John Wicks is available to watch. It's almost like there's a John Wick channel in hotels around the world. So this one should be available. But when I was looking it up, this is only available on like Peacock and a couple other services. And on the Just Watch website that I was looking up, it says it's leaving in 4 days. I'm sure it's going somewhere else. These movies are too popular for not, but that's kind of another thing is you have to figure out what streaming service that you're going to go to if you're going to not buy it and then figure out and then you're paying for a streaming service to watch that movie, which most of us are paying for some sort of streaming service now. I looked up, let me pull up my notes. It says Variety says Americans spend at least $69 per month on video streaming, and the average person has 3 to 4 streaming services. I think that's probably I'm in that boat for sure because I know I have Disney Plus, we do Netflix, and I pay for Apple TV Plus. So those are ones that I actually pay for. And to be honest, I would drop Netflix if I could. It's not the first thing I ever turn on anymore. Like there's not that much in there. I get tired of the recommendation engine. It's a whole nother video, but I actually did do a post on my blog about that. If you want to read that, I'll link to it below. But I can't get rid of Netflix because my wife watches a lot of stuff on there, so that's why we keep that. We also I have to throw Amazon Prime in there, but I've been an Amazon Prime member for at least 10 years, probably closer to 15, and the video service is just looped into that. But to be honest, I would not pay for the service if I didn't have to, and other services I wouldn't pay for, but that we have HBO Max, we have Hulu. I get HBO Max because of my internet provider. That comes in bundled for free, and then we get Hulu with the ad service through my wife's mobile phone carrier. And those are ones like there's shows on there, each of those that I would watch, but I definitely wouldn't be keeping it year round. So that's what 7 streaming services that I have available to me, and none of these movies that I just listed are available on any of them. You can't get any of these on. I have 7 services, and I can't watch. Sorry about that. And I can't watch any of these. To me, that's ridiculous. I all the services that I have, and you can't watch any of these movies. And the other day, I was watching a video, and they've removed Doctor Who from all streaming services in the U.S. Like if you're in the UK, you can still watch this. I think it's on their BBC player, but in the U.S., you can't watch this. They have the new season that Disney Plus has, but the old seasons of Doctor Who, they're gone. Now, I'm sure there's probably going to, again, it's going to pop up on another streaming service, but I have the Chris Eggleston, David Tennant. This is what I'm going to watch the most. I would like the Matt Smith ones as well, but so I at least have them on physical. But right now, if I go somewhere, you cannot watch these. So it's one of those things like you can have all these services, and then still the movies that you want to watch aren't there, which again, seems utterly ridiculous. I know this is a very pro physical media thing, but that's who I am, and it's probably who you are if you're watching this. So I'm probably preaching to the choir a little bit, but I guess that's where we're at in this digital world where everything seems a little bit more disposable because you can stream music, you can stream TV shows, you can stream movies, and you don't actually have to own the thing, but then you don't have it available when you want. What you want to watch is dictated by, these billion-dollar companies. So I'm not sure. I didn't really answer the question of how long because I don't think there is an answer. For me, it's an individual answer on like how often you need to watch something to justify the cost. But I'm very curious on what your thoughts are. For most of these, I paid probably $2 each at the flea market to get. So my buy-in for these is very cheap. When I was looking it up on like the iTunes store, it was like $3.99 to rent, $14.99 to buy, and that's probably about average. Maybe some movies are a little bit cheaper. I think Can't Buy Me Love was like $7.99 to buy and $3.99 to rent. I think they're almost always $3.99 to rent. So if they're movies that you're not sure about or things like that, and every now and then I will rent a movie that I've never seen because generally I don't buy movies that I haven't seen before unless there's been a couple occasions where movies I've found for like $1 or even like $2. I just bought the movie knowing from the Salvation Army for $2. I had never seen it before, but it was Alex Proyas along with Nick Cage. And I'm like, you know what, for $2, I'll take a flyer because, again, that's a rental for me back in the day. So, and if I don't like it, it's $2. I'll ship it on to the next place. It's not like I'm out of ton of money. But for me, the buy-in cost for a lot of these isn't steep because I don't buy a lot of movies that I haven't seen before. So I kind of know what I'm getting into. And I know not everybody's like that. I know some people do blind buys and things, and you have subscriptions to certain things, like I think like Vinegar Syndrome, you get sent stuff. So maybe your buy-in versus this to watch and justification is different. I'd be curious to know. But for me, I generally am not buying movies that I've never seen before. So for me, the justification is pretty simple. If I watch this twice, it's $2 that I've invested. Well, technically, I guess my wife's invested $2 in this particular one. So my investment is zero. But, $2 for Moon. If I watch this once, it's already paid for the rental cost for me. And yeah, it's going to take up a little bit of space on my shelf. But as of today, I'm okay on space. give it 5 years, and this may be one of those movies that I look at and be like, I haven't watched this for like 5, 10, whatever, how many years, and do I really need to keep this in my collection? The justification may change them, but I'm sure there's going to be other movies in my collection that I would also have that same justification for whenever I do the culling of the collection, as we all as collectors tend to do from time to time. But I know that was a little bit of a rant. Hopefully I didn't go on for too long. I have no idea how long this video is, but if you've watched this long, I really appreciate it. Please consider hitting that subscribe button. Please give me a thumbs up if you like this video, but definitely let me know in the comments on what you think. Like, what is your, I would say, buy-in, whether you decide you're going to buy a movie or if you're just going to find it on streaming. Is it stuff that you've seen before? Do you just like any director or actor that you enjoy that you will just buy everything they have? I'm really curious to know what your justification for buying versus just trying to stream it, or in some of these cases, just saying, oh, well, I wanted to watch Moneyball. I guess I'm not watching that today. So definitely leave your thoughts in the comments below. It's been great talking with everybody. I can't wait to see what the conversation leads to. But for now, I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. And don't forget, collect what you love.